The majuscules follow the same sort of pattern as the minuscules in that different types of calligraphic scripts, i.e. copperplate, roundhand, italic, humanist minuscule, all influence the shape, the initial shape of which we're starting with the majuscules. So again, we're going to start with the basic shape, I, H, J, and L. So we have I, H, J, and L. These can also be augmented into much more calligraphic forms. Next in the straight group, we have T, E, and F. And a little line ending. The letters U, V, and W follow next. U, change the position of the hand. V and W gives us U, V, and W. We can also add a front serif, which is reminiscent of the serifs we find in swash italic. So if we slant this, what we get is so always look to the historical forms for a little bit of guidance. Next we have the straight letters A, M, N, and H. The position of my hand changes. Note the position of my hand changes. So we have and this gives us a little bit more room for play. Or you can do it on the side. With a little serif. We move to the more difficult letters, which require different hand positions. Notice I really took my time on the bottom there. Three strokes. I'm starting to curve the letters ever so slightly to give them a little bit more of a sort of sensuous feel to them. And I'm changing the Y with an extension on the Z. These extensions can very easily help us to produce flourish shapes, to extend and fill the line. D, P, R, and B come next. So much slower. We can make these shapes a little bit differently if we start looking at how they apply to other types of scripts. D, P, R, and B. So these are very typical of what you'd find in Spencerian script. And they are the sort of basis of the majuscules for a lot of modern calligraphy. As with most scripts, the letter S tends to stand alone. Its shape and movement and structure is very different to most of the other letters. A simplified form is usually difficult, simpler in its minuscule form, as we saw earlier on. The majuscule form is usually a bigger version of the minuscule form. Notice I've changed the axis from a vertical axis to a slanted axis. You can also use the copperplate form of this letter, which is not that easy to write. Next, we look at the C, the O, and the G. So notice I'm using a combination of finger and wrist movement. Sorry, the C, the O, the G, and the Q.